Guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Marinike Sanusi, for those of you who don't know who I am. In my previous video, I said that I'm going to use this channel to just have young believers like myself on here to share the stories, and so I'm going to be the first person sharing my story here. I hope you guys would watch it. It might probably be a bit long, but I hope you guys enjoy. First of all, I'm Nigerian. I grew up in Nigeria all my life up until university, and I'm junior now at Arizona State University. But growing up in Nigeria is a very religious country, so God was a big part of my life. I grew up in a Christian house, and I grew up knowing about God. I grew up believing in God. I grew up believing in Jesus and learning all about that stuff. So, but at the same time, it was I think the idea I had about Jesus was what I heard other people say about him, like what I'd hear in church or at school or what my mom would say or something like that. But I didn't really know him for myself. And so because of that, like most of the times when I would go to God, I prayed to God when I wanted something, and it was like, especially like maybe during like exam period in school, I'll go to God and then I'll pray for whatever it is I want, and I'll be like, oh God, I'm going to keep staying close to you, and then after I get whatever I want, I leave, and then whenever I want something, I come back. So I was just seeing God kind of like my fairy godmother, if I would say. Like it was just like I was just going to God when I needed something, and that wasn't exactly the right motive, and because of that, I think that was why I wasn't really able to build a relationship with God or even understand anything, because I was only going to God when I needed something, and then I'll leave, and then I'll feel bad, and then I'll come back when I needed something again and ask Him for it. And um, that was just kind of me growing up. I think it wasn't until my last year of high school that I think I actually really began to experience who God was in a different way, because I was writing an exam, IGCSE, in my last year, one of like my final exams, my last year of high school, and I just remember like I was so scared during that period. I was so scared of failing. Like I was just having lots of trouble with like reading and everything, and I would just pray to God, and I just remember during that time was when I would feel God's peace. Like I would understand the verse that's like I understand what it means to have the peace of God that surpasses all understanding, and it was like I hadn't experienced that from God before, like that type of peace. And I just remember during that period, like really being like, wow, like this is God. Like I could feel His presence. I can feel Him telling me like everything's going to be okay. I can feel Him um just helping me during that period. And I think that was when my relationship with God really started. And so after high school, I took a gap year before I started uni, and I said I was going to apply to schools in the US. I was going to um, write my SATs and stuff like that, and just do a bunch of things before I start uni, because I didn't want to start immediately because I was a bit young. So during that gap year was when my relationship with God got so much deeper than I ever thought it could. And I just remember like since like I started to experience God, I was like, this time like I'm going to actually really go deep in like learning who God is. Like I'd experienced Him, and it wasn't something I experienced before, so like I definitely wanted to grow closer to Him and stuff like that during that time. I started going to a new church that was close by, and I just because I hadn't been to church in a while, and I was seeing how that was affecting me staying closer to God, and I just kept getting distracted, and I was like, I need to go to church. I need to start finding a new church that I can go to every Sunday that can really help me in my walk with God. And so the church I started going to started a fast January of 2014, and I just felt like that was what I wanted to do. Like I felt like that was what God wanted me to do, and I think starting into the fast, I kind of had the wrong motives. I was kind of like going in there with like, this is what I wanted. Like a fast is this was a food fast that I was doing, and it was like going certain periods of time in a day, not eating, and then breaking the fast by 6 p.m. And it was actually like it was a 100-day fast actually. It was a lot, but I was like I don't know, I just felt like this was what I needed to do right now in my relationship with God. I wanted to get closer to Him, but I also wanted lots of things. The things that I wanted from God were I wanted to get into Stanford. So I applied to like 5 schools in the US, and they were like all good schools. And I was like, this is what I want. Like I wasn't really thinking about what God wanted. I was just like, this is what I want, God. I want to get to Stanford. I'm praying and fasting for this, Lord, and I know that you can do this. And I was just kind of going to Him for the things I wanted. It was like a relationship was kind of like a side thing, like, and if I get to know you more, like, that's good. But I just want you to do this for me. During that fast, like, the idea that I had was like, that I had from what I heard people say was like, once you start following God, like, serving, like, reading the Bible, getting closer to Him, like, everything's going to fall into place. So that was what I thought. I was thinking like now like I'm even going into I'm fasting, like everything's just going to fall into place, everything's going to work well in my life, like money, every like financially I'm going to be set, school wise I'm going to be set, everything that I wanted well, I was just going to keep getting it, like the blessings and blessings, like that was what I heard. So that was what I was believing, like I was like, God is going to do all these things for me. And I didn't understand lots of things, but I'm like, sure, like, this is what's going to happen because I'm fasting for this. And like, even before it started the fast, like, pastor praying and saying that like miracles are going to happen in your life. And I was like, yes, this is like, I was like, this is what is going to happen. Like, I was so happy. I was expectant during that period. And so first, like, it started in January, and some weeks into January, my dad passed away, and it was very sudden. It wasn't something that like anybody was expecting, and I just remember feeling that day like I just couldn't understand because I was thinking that everything was supposed to be working out well. Everything was supposed to be like death wasn't something that was supposed to be happening during that time when I'm fasting God and believing and I'm going closer to Him. Like death isn't something that's going to happen straight to my dad. Like you wouldn't think, like you hear people say, oh, like my dad died when I was, or like one of their parents died when they were really young, and you would never think that would actually happen to you until it has. And I just remember like just being like, God, like I don't know what's going on, but like I knew that there was no one else I could turn to. Because it was like, okay, I have a choice. I could like get angry with God and be like, oh God, um, why do you let this happen? Like, am I not following you? Like, isn't everything supposed to be good? But at the same time, I knew that like, where was I going to turn to? Like, if I was going to get angry with God, where was I going to turn to? What was I going to like? What else would I like? What else would I look to? Like, I didn't have anything to, I didn't have anyone but God to look to, and I was just like, I just went to God like, I don't know like what's going on. I don't know, like it was really, really, really hard for me, and I was like, I'm just going to trust you. Like I don't like. I was just. I just remember like being confused, but at the same time, I was just like, I'm just going to stay here, God, because I don't have anywhere to go. Like I'm going to just listen to what you have to say to me. And it was during that time that I heard God telling me like, don't you for 1 second say that you don't have a father. Like I'm your father, and I've been your father since forever. And that was the first time that I actually began to see God as my dad. I began to see God as my father that provided me, and He has been all my life. And I just never really saw Him as that. It was just someone that I was going to whenever I needed something. And I just, during that time was when I understood the verse that says, blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. I experienced God's comfort in ways that I hadn't before because I hadn't been through something like this before in my life. And I just like I began to feel like His love. Like I remember just feeling like Him saying like, I'll carry you in my arms. And that was how I felt throughout that period. It was like I was too weak to stand by myself, but God was carrying me throughout that whole time. And I remember just spending time with God, and even though I was hurting, even though I was heartbroken, it was like He still gave me hope through everything. I was just like that even when I was feeling bad, I would still know that God was there for me. Like it felt like, like when something sudden happens, something bad happens, it's like I was feeling like I was like you're supposed to fall down flat hard on the ground. Like that was how I was supposed to feel like when something like this happened. But I felt like God was always like the cushion below. That was like I fell, no doubt about it, but God was God just like came and like cushioned the blow. Like it wasn't as hard as it was like it usually is supposed to be. Like he was not he was just there like comforting me. Like every time I'll feel down, every time I'll feel sad, hurt, I'll start to like pity myself, like how did this happen? Like God will always remind me of his words, like I'm here for you, I won't forsake you, I won't fail you. Like I'm your father, I'm a good father, like everything happens for a reason. Like I don't understand why anything happened. I still don't understand. I just know that God is a good God, and I began to feel His love. I began to want to spend more time with Him because I was like, man, I've known about God for all my life, and like I had started a relationship with Him like last year of high school, but I didn't know Him like this. Like I didn't know Him to be this type of God that was like so that wanted to be so involved in my life, that wanted to give me hope, that wanted to love me and just care for me and like wrap me in his arms and like just be with me through this hard time. Like it was something else, and I just began to like really hunger to know him. I began to want to know him more, spend time with him. Like I was reading my Bible a lot, just like worshiping him, like listening to worship songs, and it was just like he began to teach me a lot of things during that time. I began to like hear him. It was something that I couldn't explain, something that like even today I'm just like, wow, like I can't really explain just how much I felt his presence in my life. Simultaneously during that period, like I said, I applied to 5 schools, and around that time, like throughout like the whole fast, I was getting my letters back from schools, and I got rejection letters from all 5 schools I applied to, including Stanford. And I was just like, I didn't understand. Like during that time, there were a lot of things I didn't understand. I just had to trust God because I was like, this was the reason why I started this fast. Like I wanted to get into Stanford, and it didn't happen. And I just remember like at that time I was like I was really really broken. I was like I don't know, like I thought that this Christian life was supposed to be easy. Like now I know that Christian life is not hard, but then like I don't know why, like the idea I had about God was like, man, when I get everything was going to be easy. Like I wasn't going to struggle anymore. And it was when I had like fully decided I wanted to go deep with God, and everything was just hard. It was like from one thing to another. Like I wanted to do so many things during my gap year, nothing worked out, and I didn't understand. Like God had to really like free me from the wrong mentality that I had of him. That he was just this like fairy godmother or something like that, or like my ATM machine that I'll just go to whenever I wanted something and I'll leave. And he began to like really show me what it meant to have a relationship with him, and he really began to teach me that like this Christian walk wasn't hard. Like he led me to his verses, to like his word, and just like the verse that says, in this world you would have suffering, but take care, I've overcome the world. And this verse in Isaiah 43 verse 2, and it says, I love this verse because I think it just really helped me understand this like walk with God, and was like, when you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze. I remember reading this verse for the first time during that period, and I was like, okay, like it actually says when you walk through the fire. It didn't say if you're going to walk, it said when. So it's like, yes, in this life, things are going to happen. You're going to walk through the fire. You're going to walk through rivers of difficulty. Things are going to be hard, but he said you will not be burned. Like things are going to happen. Everything isn't going to be easy. It's going to be hard, but he's going to be with you through everything. And it was a hard thing for me to process because I came in thinking everything was going to be easy. And I just remember like there's this song I would always listen to. It's like I Can't Give Up Now by Mary Mary, I think. And there's a part of the song that says nobody told me it's going to be easy. but I don't believe you brought me this far to leave me. And I just remember like I'd always twist the song and I'm like, nobody told, like I'll just be crying. I'm like, nobody told me it was going to be this hard. But I know that he's brought me this far. Like I'd gone too far in my relationship with God. Like I couldn't go back. Like I'd fallen in love with God. Like I started a relationship. I began to know him more, and like it was hard for me to leave that idea that I had about God before, but at the same time, it was also freeing for me to understand who He really was and what this Christian walk is about. It allowed me to really like trust Him and understand Him and not blame Him for bad things happening in my life, because that's just how life is. Good things and bad things happen. It doesn't mean that God is the one that causes it. He just said, His word says that even though you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not consume you. That is what I had to learn during that period. And so I got rejected from all those schools. Although I was confused, I was just like, okay, God, like I actually like I surrendered everything. It felt like I was holding on to a bunch of things. Like I was holding on to like the school I went to like give me worth. I was holding on to like how comfortable I was financially and stuff like that, and the things I did during my gap year. And it was like everything was like being pulled away from my hand, and I only had God, and I think that was where He wanted me to be, where I was just fully dependent on Him, and that was like when I was like, okay, God, I surrender everything. Like, I don't even have anything. Like, I don't know what's going to, like, where I'm going to go right now. Like, I just know, and I just, like, I remember, like, His word and Him just comforting me and just giving me hope and saying, like, I have plans to prosper you and not to harm you. I have plans to give you a hope and a future. It was like, that was something that I hadn't, it was something that was new to me. It was something that was just so amazing to me. Like even though everything, like I still had this hope that He had plans to prosper me. Like He wasn't going to harm me. He said that everything's going to work together for the good of those who love Him and who are called according to His purpose. He told me that the good work that He started in me, He's going to finish it. And it was like these type of things that like it just really gave me hope that everything was going to work out. And I just remember like I was still kind of angry with God. I was just like, but I trusted Him at the same time. I was like, God, like I'm not going to look for any school at all. I'm not going to look for any school by myself. I'm just going to leave you wherever you like. I'm just going to leave it to you, whatever you want. Like obviously, I don't know how to look for schools for myself, and it didn't work out when I tried to do it by myself. So I'm just going to leave you. Like, you're the one that's going to find me the school that I'm going to go to. You're the one that's going to do everything for me because I don't want to do it by myself. I don't want to try to do it in my own strength. And so I just left it to Him. And after a few weeks or months, I think, around April of 2014, I met a woman that helps with admission school in the US. And she like I told her my situation and everything, and she was like, okay, like I can help you look for schools that are still accepting applications, because by then it was like a lot of schools had already stopped accepting applications, like their deadlines had passed. And so she helped me to find Arizona State University, ASU, which is the school I'm going to now. And I was just like, okay, like I guess I'll just apply to this. And it took like 2 weeks to get everything ready, and I sent everything in. And I just remember like days after I applied to ASD, I got in. I was like, wow, is it this easy to get into school? Because all I've ever known was rejection letters through everything that I've been through. So at that time, I just felt I got in, like, this is where I want you to go. This is actually the path that I want you to be. And it was like God closed so many doors, all those schools. He closed all those doors and opened one door. Like this is where I want you to go. And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to trust you, and I'm going to do this. Like I've seen and I've heard you and experienced you, and I know you. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to trust you with my life. I'm going to trust you and know that you have everything. That everything's going to work out for me. I got to ASU, and not long after that, I got plugged into a church there, and it was then that I really got to understand the importance of being plugged into a church and being involved in a local church, because earlier on I was kind of like alone. Like I was going to church, but I wasn't really involved. I wasn't doing anything because people were older than me in church. And I remember praying to God for people that were my age. Like I wanted Christian friends that were my age. Like I had friends and we said we're Christian, but I didn't really know. I wasn't really seeing any sign of them having this relationship that I was developing with God. So and we never really talked about it. So I was like, God, I really pray that like in when I get to college, like I'll start having like Christian friends that I'll be able to have a church that I'll be going to. And another thing that I prayed for was that I would be able to share the gospel, share what He's done in my life. Like I really, really wanted to share like the things I was experiencing because it was like when you get into a relationship, like in real life, like when you get into a relationship with someone, it's like you're like, oh, you love that person so much, you want to tell everyone about it, and that was like the same way it was with God. It was like I didn't understand how like I could keep all of this inside, like I could keep what I was experiencing with God and what God was teaching me and what God was telling me. Like he gave me so much peace, so much joy, so much happiness, love, everything that it was like I was looking for elsewhere in like school, in my grades. And I saw people doing that and I was like, man, I really wanted to show people, I really wanted to tell people that Jesus was the answer that they were looking for. Like Jesus was the one that would give them the love that they've been searching for in so many people, in so many relationships. And it was like those were the two things that I prayed to God for. And I just remember when when I was in my church, and I just remember we had a prayer meeting, and like I've been going there for a while, but I wasn't really like I was just doing Bible studies. I wasn't really like fully involved. And I just remember at that prayer meeting, God was like, "Do you remember when you prayed for this?" Because I prayed for those things and they didn't happen immediately, and so I just kind of like forgot about them and stopped praying about it. And I just remember God saying like, I didn't forget your prayer. Like I heard every single one of them, and it wasn't the right time then, but now is the right time. Like this is where I've placed you. This is where I want you to belong, and this is where um these are the people that I want you to trust. These are the Christian friends that I've brought to you, and this is where you're going to grow. And it was just amazing because my church had both things that I was praying that I had been praying for previously. It was a group of people that were my age, like college students, and they were on fire for God and they were really like encouraging and they were and it was also a church that was like it was a missional church. And so we did a lot of evangelism and stuff like that and it was and just sharing the gospel and I just remember like I was just like gosh like I didn't even believe. I just like how you forget like you pray so many things and then nothing happens and you just get tired and like okay I don't know maybe God doesn't want to answer me or something like that and just to see how months later I was like this is not right and like I heard every prayer. I heard every time that you prayed to me for Christian friends. I heard every time that you prayed to me like that you want to be used by me and now I'm giving you a chance to do that. Like I've answered your prayer. It was in my church that I got to really learn a lot and grow a lot. Like I would not be here if it wasn't for things I've learned and just like they were able to encourage me, challenge me, especially in my walk with God and just um teach me how to share my story like this. They taught me how to be a leader. They taught me how to be confident. Like I just learned how to be confident and bold about my faith in God, and that was when I really started to be like outspoken about my faith in God. When I like joined my church, and it was just there were lots of things that I learned, and I wouldn't be here if I hadn't been through all of those things. And now that I think about that time of my life, it's supposed to be like such a hard thing. Like my dad died, I got rejected by all these schools, everything was not working out. But it's amazing how God can turn something that was so bad and just give you hope in it. Like now that I think back into that period, it's not something of sadness. Like I don't think of it. It's not sad things that come into my like it doesn't make me want to like feel down or sad. Now I just think back to that period and I'm just like filled with so much hope because it was like it was when I got to know God, it was when I fell in love with God, it was when I started my relationship with God, it was when I began to experience God in new ways, it was when I got to learn so many things about him, about the Holy Spirit and just it's a season in my life that I think back now and I'm just like I just have a smile on my face because I'm like, wow, this is God. Like, this is who God is. This is who God is. He's my father. Like, he's a good father. Like, he helped me through everything, and he's brought me out of everything. Like, he brought me out of it. Like, all I needed to do was trust him, and I did during that time. It was hard, and like sometimes like I wanted to give up. I just thank God that I didn't give up on God, and like now I'm so thankful for where he's brought me. Like the friends that I've made, and I just remember during that time, like after I got rejected from Stanford, he was like, "You're going to thank me for this one day," and I didn't understand. I was like, I don't think so. But now I'm so thankful. Like I don't know where I would be if I went to another school. I don't know how I would be. The friends that I would make if I went to another school. Like I'm thankful for the people that I met in this, like in my school that I'm thankful for the things that I've learned. I'm thankful for the opportunities that I've had, and I'm just thankful for everything that God has done. So that's basically just my story. And if there's just one thing that's like strong in my heart that I want to like encourage somebody with, like if there's one thing I want to take from my story, it's just that like God is faithful. He's so faithful. Everyone can change. People can make you promises and not be able to keep it. People can do so many things and fail you, but God doesn't fail. He is not human that He would fail you. He's a perfect God. He would provide for you. He's going to protect you. He's going to give you hope during everything. For everything, like bad things are going to happen. You're not going to understand everything. Like it's going to be hard to trust Him sometimes. It's going to be so hard, and you're going to feel like you're crazy and like what's this, like you're going to even have doubts, but like through it all, like God is going to still be the one to like care for you. And it's just amazing how even when we leave him, he never leaves us. He's always rooting for us. He's always cheering us on. He's still loving us, doing everything. And that's just one thing that I want you to leave. Like he's faithful and just to do what he says. He's faithful and just to keep his promises to you. And if you just like surrender your life and just give him the pen to write your story, he writes a beautiful story that you just like. There's no way you can ever write a story as beautiful as the one God writes for you. That's basically all that I wanted to share today about my story, and I just hope that you guys like it. If you like it, you can like, subscribe, and share. Most importantly, share, because you just don't know who is going through stuff and needs to hear this. So share this video. If you have any prayer requests or questions, you can send me an email at 613oaksofrighteousness at gmail.com, or you can also just read me through any of my social media platforms, which I'm going to put in the description box and probably at the end of this video as well. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.
Yeah.